Do you ever look at someone and wonder what is going on inside their head?
Hello, this is Akrel, Mirzi and Kai speaking. So today we are gonna teach you about neurons and synapse. The basic structure of a neuron consists of a dendrite, cell body, axon, myelin sheath, node of Ranvier and synaptic knob. Dendrite's a short-branched cell body that receives nerve impulses from other neurons or the external environment and sends them to the cell body. A cell body consists of a nucleus and many cytoplasmic projections called dendrites. The cell body integrates signals and coordinates metabolic activity. Axon is an elongated branch of the body cell that carries impulses out of the cell body to other neurons or effectors. Myelin sheath is an insulating membrane that coats the axon. It is to protect neurons from injury, functions as an insulator for electrical impulses, and provides nutrients to the axon. Node of Ranvier is a part of neurons that are not insulted by the myelin sheath at regular gaps along the axon. The node of Ranvier helps to accelerate the flow of nerve impulses by allowing the nerve impulses to jump from one node to the following node. The synaptic knob is a swelling at the end of the axon branch. The synaptic knob sends signals to muscle cells, gland cells, or other neurons, dendrites. There are three types of neurons, which are motor neurons, sensory neurons, and relay neurons. Motor neuron can be found in the ventral root of the spinal nerve. It receives nerve impulses from the relay neuron of the central nervous system and sends nerve impulses to effectors such as muscle or glands to produce the appropriate response. The cell body is present in the gray matter of the spinal cord. Sensory neurons are present in the dorsal root of the spinal nerve. It carries nerve impulses from the sensory organ receptors to the central nervous system. The cell body is found in the dorsal root ganglion. The dendrites receive nerve impulses from receptors and send them to the cell body, then transferred to the next neuron through the axon. Relay neurons are found in the central nervous system. It connects the sensory neuron to the motor neuron that allow nerve impulses from the sensory neuron to the central nervous system, and from the central nervous system to the motor neuron. The cell body can be found in clusters in the gray matter of the central nervous system. Structure and functions of synapses. Information is sent along the neuron through electrical signals known as nerve impulses. Impulses are positively charged waves that flow along the axon to synaptic knob. There is a narrow gap called synapse that separates the synaptic knob from neuron dendrites that receive the impulses. Electrical signals that carry information must be transferred across synapses for impulses to be transmitted to the following neurons. Synapses play an important role in allowing nerve impulses to travel in one direction. Therefore, synapses control the types of impulses that pass through them. Transmission of impulse across a synapse. Most communication between neurons occurs at a specialized structure called a synapse. A synapse is an area where two neurons come close enough to one another that they are able to pass chemical signals from one cell to another. The neurons are not actually connected, but are separated by a microscopically small space called the synaptic cleft. The cleft is less than 40 nanometers wide. By comparison, a human hair is about 75,000 nanometers. The neuron where the signal is initiated is called the presynaptic neuron, while the neuron that receives the signal is called the postsynaptic neuron. In the presynaptic neuron, there are chemical signals called neurotransmitters that are packaged into small sacs called vesicles. Each vesicle can contain thousands of neurotransmitter molecules. When the presynaptic neuron is excited by an electrical signal called an action potential, it causes these vesicles to fuse with the presynaptic membrane and release their contents into the synaptic cleft. Once they are in the synaptic cleft, neurotransmitters interact with receptors on the postsynaptic membrane. They bind to these receptors and can cause an action to occur in the postsynaptic cell as a result. This action may involve increasing the likelihood that the postsynaptic cell will become activated and itself fire an action potential, or decreasing it, inhibition. Eventually, the neurotransmitter molecules must be cleared from the synaptic cleft. Some of them will simply drift away in a process called diffusion. In some cases, the neurotransmitter is taken back up into the presynaptic neuron in a process called reuptake. Once back inside the presynaptic neuron, the neurotransmitter can be recycled and reused. In other cases, enzymes break down the neurotransmitter within the synapse. Then the component parts can be sent back into the presynaptic neuron to make more neurotransmitter.
Itu sahaja dari kami. Maaf jika membosankan. Hahaha.